Salon of Beauty. Remember the other day when I said that everybody gets into funks, and it's just how you have to get out of it before you ruin somebody else's day? Well, I ruined my own day today by getting in a funk. And it all started when I couldn't find, I got ready to do that hair video that I had promised everyone, and nobody asked for or reminds me of, because nobody came to my channel to see anything ever. But I do have 7 subscribers, and I did say I was going to do a video on Instagram, I think, and even on my Facebook. But I sat down to do it today because I had the house alone to myself until noon. I wasted all my morning. I exercised, of course, and went for like 35. I only went for 35 minutes today because my knee and my ankle were giving out on me and my hand hurt. And I was making excuses. I know I am making excuses, but I can only push it for 35 minutes. But anyway, so I've just been going slow today. I'll just say it that way. I've just been going slow, and I'm in a funk. And so I sat down to do my hair video, and I couldn't find my long comb with the long handle, the teaser comb. And I have 2 of them, but I can't find either one of them. So I went to hunt for it in other rooms and couldn't find it and got frustrated. Had my, hair extensions. I was going to put on another pair today instead of the ones with the purple ends, because I washed the ones with the purple ends and they kind of lost the purple. So anyway, I was going to go back to my original hair extensions, have them all laid out here to do the thinner ones. Because after I colored my hair, it kind of faded from the platinum to more of a warm yellow color. Not yellow, but not as white as the other extensions. So I was going to do these today. And I still may, but that got me, depressed. How can you get depressed over losing a comb? You can. I don't know. But anyway, let's talk about it. Let's just work our way through it and see if we can't get ourselves out of this hole. I went and got my husband's comb. Sorry, honey. And I'll just keep going and talk my way through it. Yeah, and I got depressed too because I looked at my channel today to get ready to do this and realized that I'm still not getting any views. I'm still not getting any new subscribers. And I'm asking myself, why am I doing this? And I know that people, from watching other people's, videos, not everybody has perfect days. And I've seen some YouTubers break down and cry on camera and then go ahead and post it anyway, because I don't know why they posted their bad days, but they have their reasons, maybe to get through to people like me that, you have bad days and you have days where you don't feel adequate. Society puts a lot of pressure on us to be, attractive, to be perfect. And when I started my channel, I wasn't out. Oh, that one don't go first. That one goes second or third. When we start our channels, we think we have something to say, maybe important to the world, or to add to the world. I don't know if people start their channels that way, but I did. I started my channel. This one's kind of curly. I don't need to curl it at all. I got my curling iron out to curl my hair, but I may not need to curl it. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So when I started my channel, I was thinking, I had something to say because I survived necrotizing fasciitis. And I was just so happy to be alive that I thought, if I could share that with someone else who's going through not maybe as rough a time as something as drastic as almost losing your life to a deadly disease that came out of nowhere. I mean, gosh, that was horrible. When I look back and think, why, you know, and I have those days when I say, why me? Why did I get something so horrible and survive something so horrible? I even went as far as, I know it's stupid, but to post a question in a psychic forum about, why did I survive, you know, thinking, oh, I wonder if this psychic could see, you know, something like that. And just give me a heads up on what I'm supposed to do with this amazing gift. And he said something like, what did he say? To provide emotional support for others, and I should do that. Well, I always thought growing up my sole purpose was to be a writer and to write and share my insights on what I'd learned throughout my life with others in fiction. And, you know, so my writing was therapeutic in the sense that I expressed how I believed the meaning of life, you know. And then this happens to me, and it takes me for a loop, and I'm like, I don't know the meaning of life. I don't even know why I'm here. And then when that person said that to me, I'm still confused. I'm like, provide emotional support. Sorry. Provide emotional support. What does that mean? Well, I know what it means in my own life with my family, and that's what I do every day as the mother of the family, the grandmother. I am here to provide emotional support and have been, and I thought I'm, you know, doing that pretty good. But how do I help others understand the beauty of life, like, you know, I've come to think of life as? So I started my YouTube channel and thought, okay, it'll be all about the beautiful things of life. But I'm not beautiful. So why do I have the authority to tell people how to do their hair or how to do their makeup when I can't even go through a day with happy, happy, joy, joy? You know what I mean? I mean, there are so many great YouTubers out there who absolutely shine. I mean, oh, they're so beautiful, and they know everything about everything. And I only have what I have. I only have the makeup I can afford at the time. I only have the hair that I have at the time. And the advice I could give anybody is not, you know, a professional advice. I just learn what I learned through my life, what works for me. So, I'm not here to be your beauty guru, and I'm probably not here to give sage advice. I'm just here to get through it like you are. So, let's get through it together. Let's just press on. Let's do this. So, I put the largest ones in my hair on the back, and now I'm going to just keep going. This one's pretty. This one's a little thicker. I like this extension better than the one I wore in the photos that you saw me with the purple on the ends, even though after I treated that with coconut, not coconut oil, just coconut shampoo actually, and then I conditioned it with, I actually put the purple shampoo in it to see if I could get it lighter, which worked, and it did make it very soft. And then I didn't heat dry it, I let it dry naturally, and then I put it to the curling iron and straightened it bone straight. And after I did that, where is that one? I'll show you. Oh my goodness, I've got a little bit of a queasy stomach today because I haven't eaten, and I just took my medications for the day, and I'm having coffee, so I'm not living up to my diet. I think I gained back the last time. I was so happy and wrote it down. Well, I wasn't happy, but I wasn't disappointed. Pardon me, pardon me. I gotta take a sip. Okay, but yeah, so I gained back a little weight after all this hard work, all this workout. I just don't know what I'm doing wrong in that front. But look how pretty and soft. I hope you can see how soft in the video. This piece came after treating it. It's almost brought it back to life, and it was really frizzy. But I don't know, it almost matches, but I'm still going to go with the thinner extension. Also from Wish, the day I ordered 2 sets of extensions, I ordered one for my oldest daughter who lives with me, and then me. It was around her birthday time. And she ended up giving them to me because she went back to brunette. I know that looks like brown roots, but it's really just the shadows. I did a really good job. And I may insert in this video the pictures I took. Oh, look at that! Of me coloring my hair. So I think we're ready for, or do we have one more? I think we're ready for the sides. That one looks like a 2. Okay, we're ready for the sides. It just feels like there should be more back there because that other set has so many. What was that? Did you see that short hair pop up? I just want you guys to know, I'll try to find the camera and look you in the eye. How do I want to put this? Life is short. I mean, I've said that so many times, and when I was in the hospital, I had a hard time, especially in the beginning when I was in intensive care, and then when I came out, adjusting to the, what do you call the anesthesia that they put me under with. And I don't remember my experience, during the operations and in the beginning, and it took me a long time in intensive care to focus and to come back and to realize where I was and that I was okay. And I had lots of vivid dreams during that time, after every operation, after they'd put me back in my room and I'd be resting or under still or whatever. And so many of the dreams were so, like I said, so weird and so connected, you know. And in one of the dreams, I know that I was in this place that was like the middle ground, the life between place. And the experiences I had there were during the time, it was all around the time when India had its earthquake. Did I get both of them in there? And the people I saw were of that nation going to the between place. I'm really sure of it after I woke up and tried to tell people my experience, and they were like, well, that's just the anesthesia talking. I don't think so. I think that my body was trying to shut down. I was trying to go to that place, or was in that place. And I met a lot of people there during that time who were actually crossing over. And I met a lot of people who were in like celebration and meeting their family. They were celebrating instead of crying. You know, it was not a sad place. And that's why I wanted to stay there and be part of the party. And they told me I couldn't, that you know, I had to go back. So I'm not saying I died or tried to die or whatever. I'm just saying that I was sensitive enough, oh, that's not going to look good in the back, to pick up on those souls crossing over. Anyway, I've always been that way. I mean, I don't have any great ghost stories like some people put on their, oh, you know, I'll tell you my story with the Ouija board. Because I'm, like I said so many times before, I have a lot of life experience. And when I was younger, I was a little bit more psychic than I am now as far as being sensitive to the other side. I'll just put it that way. I've kind of closed the door in my years of living so I could live. That was my best plan, was that to survive in this world, you had to close up. You couldn't experience things the way other people did unless you were ready to experience that. And I just guess I never wanted to experience it, so I closed the door until I had this operation. And then, of course, I don't think the door could be closed. There's just no way it could be closed. It had to be open for a while. And since then, like I said, I've wondered what I was supposed to do. Was I supposed to share my gift, or was I to keep the door closed? What should I do? That's why I decided to come on and share not just beauty tips, but my feelings on every subject that I know about, or that I care about. I shouldn't say know about, because sometimes we think we know everything, but we only just care about things. Well, my writings always reflect the topic of reincarnation, and I'm a bit of a science fiction buff, have been my whole life, so also fantasy. I think my books are more fantasy than anything, or people would say that. To me, it's reality, but it's fantasy in most people's life, because most people don't believe in reincarnation or time travel. Time travel is possible, but it's only possible in certain circumstances, in certain lives, and in certain modes of travel. I don't mean there's a time machine, that, unless we come to find out that in the future they have one, which is totally possible. But anyway, back to my writing. So, I started writing because of what I feel was an entity that came to me. I'll just put it that way. Back when I was, well, I can't say that, because I've had people come to me since I was, 7, maybe even 3. I've had people show up at my door and talk to me. But the defining moment was, I don't know, I had my 4 kids, and we lived in the country, and I rarely saw people, so the doorway was easily opened then. And I saw this beautiful, beautiful young woman, talking to me in those wee hours of the morning when you wake up. That's when I usually get messages and insights. I also get colors and numbers and words that as I was younger, didn't understand and had to go look up, because they were tough words. They were words like, I remember one morning I woke up with Svengali, 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 Svengali chanting in my ear as I was waking up, and I didn't know what that was, or what that meant, or who that was. So I went to the library and finally found George du Maurier's book of Trilby. And if you never read that book, you should. It's a very awesome book. It's an older book. You'd have to find a copy that wasn't as old as my copy, because obviously I bought the copy. And I realized Svengali was, a person who manipulated Trilby and tried to get her on his side, and eventually, succeeded. And she did everything he told her to. She did everything because for the good, It's kind of like the first Stockholm Syndrome. So when you hear the word Svengali, it's talking about, someone manipulating, a Svengali-like creature or person is manipulating you to be what he wants you to be, or she, but in this case, he. But because of George du Maurier, I was led to Daphne, of course. And so I believe in there are no coincidences. And I find things serendipitously throughout my life that have awakened concepts or beliefs or, you know, just been there for me. And I've had very many serendipitous moments, or the synchronicity of life. And Daphne was my biggest first synchronicity. And so I started reading everything she wrote, read her biography, fell in love with her as a human being. She was not the person that came to me the morning of. That was, that morning of, it was Nefertiti. And Nefertiti came and said, I want you to tell my story. So I started writing, and the story just came out bit by bit. And it was really like all of these people that I wrote about were guiding me and telling me, you know, and I did research. This back before we had great internet. We did have internet, but I had to go to the library to use it, and it was very limited. I did a lot of footwork, library work on research of the subjects that were becoming, you know, available to me or open to me. And, oh, that's going to stick out, huh? So, anyway, to make a long story short, we don't want to be here all day. So the first book I wrote was about reincarnation, of course, and Neffy's path throughout her life and where she ended up and where she still, you know, in the end, the book, oh, it just took on a life of its own. I just don't know. I've never had it published. Only a few people have read it, and so it'll probably never get a published, you know, publication. But it's a glorious story. I love it. I mean, even when I read it today, it's like, this is everything you need to know about life. This is everything my own guide. It's like my own guide. And when I start thinking about things, it's like a little voice inside me says, well, you wrote about it. What do you think? You know? And it's like, I don't remember what I'm supposed to learn from that story, but oh yeah, everything is true. And that's what keeps resounding, is everything is true. Everything is true. Everything is true. And we just went so many places. We went to the Civil War. We went to the 20s. We went out to the future. Sorry. They're burning my hand because I don't want me to say another word. I don't know. Do you ever get that feeling? You're busy doing something and learning, and it's like, am I supposed to learn this? This is pretty heavy stuff. But you know what? Things come to you that you're supposed to learn in the time you're supposed to learn it. I've learned that too. So with this gift of sight, as it were, insight, you should also read James Redfield, the 10th sight, or the 10th sight? The Celestine Prophecy. Very awesome book. What was I saying? So with this insight, I've learned that nothing is coincidental. Everything comes to you when it's supposed to come to you. You get the teacher that you need, you know, when you need it. For me, that way, at least that's the way it's been, is that when I've been searching for answers or questions, I have questions, the question is usually answered by someone's input into my life. Everyone will have input into your life. Everyone. Everyone you meet, everywhere you go, it's all important. The journey is just right in front of you. All you have to do is just learn how to sit down and listen to it. And that's what's so exciting for me, is that I think I know everything, and you do. You think you know everything. You think, well, I'm fine. I know everything I know the way the world works. And you don't know how everything works. You don't. Even me, at this age, in this stage, I'm thinking, why did I have the necrotizing fasciitis? I mean, what was the reason behind that? So I asked myself, okay, what was I doing at the time it happened. I was working hard. I was working every day, walking every day, and not taking care of myself. I have diabetes. Like I've said before, I was not taking care of myself. I was not eating right. I was very unhappy, and I wasn't listening to the universe. I wasn't allowing my gift to unfold. I was just being. I was just being there. I was just showing up. And when my health got so bad that when I would walk around the square where I worked and talk to people, I was bitter. I didn't want to be there. And I wasn't friendly, and I wasn't kind, and I wasn't helpful. I was just going through the motions, being there every day, but not feeling it. And this crushed me. One day I was homesick, and I couldn't get out of bed, and I couldn't put anything in my mouth without throwing it up. And I couldn't tell I had a fever because I'd been in a fever, so you know how it is when you're in a fever, you don't know how hot you are. I'm an adult. I didn't have anybody there I'm going to go this way, to feel my forehead. Or I did have my son there who kept bringing me, 7-Up or something, and I couldn't keep crackers down. I couldn't keep anything down. And I had a urinary tract infection, which I thought was what was causing all the trouble. And I went to the doctor finally. In the middle of the night, my husband said, "We got to take you to the hospital," because he felt me and I was hot. And we went to the emergency room. They gave me antibiotics and sent me home and told me to go to my doctor, as soon as possible the next day. So we rush out to my doctor, who's she's out in the country and she's not near town, so we had to drive, and we drove all that way out there. And she takes one look at me and she goes, "You are in septic shock. You have to go back to the emergency right now." And so we drove back. It's funny. We drove back to the hospital, and slowly, we didn't rush. We didn't think, I was still alert. I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, God, for an infection? For a urinary tract infection? This doesn't make any sense. And I think we even stopped at McDonald's and got a fish sandwich and a soda. And then we got to the emergency room, and of course I went in, and I can't remember how long we stayed in there, but finally I saw a doctor, and she said, "There's nothing that I can do because you're in septic shock. We have to rush you to Vancouver where there's a specialist." And she didn't tell me anything about I had I think it was called a cyst, or no, not a cyst, a boil on my leg in the back, on my butt, when you get pimples on your butt. Oh my God. And so that's what she was looking at, not anything else. And so my husband was right there, and I was starting to feel really weak, and I guess I could feel it now, And I remember the helicopter getting there and them pulling me up and getting me on there. And as we go by, like I said, I was starting to get loopy, I guess you call it, or out of it. And I told him, I was just so emotional. I said, I was scared. At that point I was really scared, and I told him, "I love you, and I've always loved you," and yada yada. And then I went on the helicopter, and he went to, I don't know, go tell the kids what was happening. And I don't know what the doctor told him. I don't know their sides of it. I just know what I experienced. And at this point, I remember getting on the helicopter. I remember flying over, and it was so exciting. I looked down and said, "I've never been up in a helicopter," looking at the down below, and it was so exciting. And then that's all I remember. I don't even remember going out of the helicopter or going to the operating room or anything else. Not for a long time. I don't remember anything. So meanwhile, they're telling my husband that she is really bad, and they couldn't tell him if I was going to make it or not. He couldn't tell the kids if I was going to make it or not, if I was, that's what I said it was just the scariest moment of my life, of our lives. But let me tell you, having the spiritual beliefs that I do is what got me through that. Having a spiritual belief, whatever it is, can get you through, oh, it's terrible, anything. It can get you through this life or death situation that you go through. And everyone has their stories, you know, everyone has gone through it, and some breeze through it easy and some breeze through it rough. And it takes a helping hand or a kind word to help somebody get through the dark night of their soul. And you can have many dark nights of your soul, which I have, and we won't go into my past and the experiences I've had that have led me to this point in life, but just trust me to know, and you can come back here and you can share your dark nights with me. And I will give you emotional comfort. What was it that I said earlier? Support, emotional support. And that's all the world needs, is emotional support. You need to emotionally support the people that mean the most to you. But you also need to emotionally support the people you meet every day. If you're out and about and you see someone hurting, no one ever really did that for me, as far as there were many dark nights of my soul and many near-death, you know, near many door-opening moments where the other side poked their head in through the veil and said something good or bad. And we just have to remember that there's always a hope. There's always a better day. And you can breeze through the bad days by believing that there's someone looking out for you. Trust it. And you know what? That someone is you, too. We all have our guides that help us through life, but you're your biggest guide. Remember, just remember what Sylvia Brown used to say. We plan our lives. We plan it out. Before we come down here, we plan out the route. And we do that with our spiritual soul mates. And I don't mean soulmate like your lover, your split half. That's called a twin flame. But your soul mates that you agree upon to come back to this place, this wonderful place, and help each other through, are your mother, your father, your sisters and your brothers, your aunts and your uncles. Everyone you meet is a soulmate. And those that are supposed to be in your life are there for a reason. And you made an agreement with them in the beginning of your charted life. So just remember that. And, you know, you can fool yourself. I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by exceeding the time, that means I'm going to have to cut this down if I want to put it on YouTube. And that's debatable because there's a little bit of a ghosty thing going on right there. But just remember that you have to trust yourself. You made the decisions to go where you thought your soul would be the best improved, which means you wrote this path in the beginning of your existence. Well, not your existence because, well, you know what? That's what I said in my book, that Nefertiti wrote her plan of life way before she was the Queen of Egypt. You know, in the beginning of time when we were twin flames and we split apart, we decided on a path for both of us. So wherever your twin flame is, he knows the path you're on. Don't forget that. That's true. It's a bit of true wisdom there. Your twin flame knows where you are, and deep inside of you, you know where he or she is. And don't be afraid. Never be afraid. Because as Jesus said, I'm with you always. Trust that he meant that with all his heart. You wouldn't have said it if it wasn't true. Don't you know? Okay, have a beauty day. Go out there and have a beauty day. I'm going to have a beauty day. I'm going to put my makeup on. I'm going to flip out my hair. I'm going to go read a good book or watch a good video and pick up my grandson and hold him tight. You do the same. Be kind to each other. And come back and see me and subscribe and like this video and share it with your friends. Love you. Bye-bye.